MICK HUME. Why would it be advisable for us to need to follow through on this cost of inoculation travel papers for opportunity? What value is 16 ounces of brew in COVID Britain? If government plans for inoculation international ID's approval, expecting us to affirm our well-being status prior to being permitted into bars and different scenes, the expense regarding our common freedoms and security could demonstrate unpalatably high in any event, for us lager-adoring Brits. Subsequent to suffering draconian lockdown laws for a year, the accomplishment of the UK's COVID immunisation programme should be our visa back to freedom. It is the reason Prime Minister Boris Johnson's guide proposes we could be set free by June 21st. However, at this point apparently inoculation is to be transformed into a pass to perpetual unfreedom, utilized as the guise for a supporter shot of additional impedance in our regular day-to-day existences. As the Daily Mail uncovered yesterday, Johnson is set to report on Monday the beginning of preliminaries for COVID passports. The Prime Minister has effectively said that, while immunization identifications presently seem inescapable for unfamiliar travel, they could likewise play a valuable part in our homegrown issues. However, it is one thing unfamiliar governments requesting evidence of inoculation prior to giving us access to their countries. It is something else totally for our own administration to request something very similar prior to giving us access to our nearby. To acquire Section 2 a setting we would need to utilize a cell phone application to demonstrate that we had been immunized, or had as of late tried negative, or had COVID-safe antibodies. The preliminaries are required to begin in theaters and arenas prior to being extended to cover bars, cafes, dance club and cinemas. Ominously, a few businesses are apparently previously counseling attorneys about how to draw up no poke, no work enlistment approaches. Allies of Inoculation International IDs contend that they will assist us with getting typical life. But what in heaven's name is ordinary about adequately being compelled to show your papers, uncover your clinical records and demonstrate the situation with your antibodies to a custodian or some other poke police job's worth? Such vile measures are typically seen as the stuff of tragic dreams about a dictator future, not piece of life in a cutting-edge vote-based system of as far as anyone knows free residence. Regardless of Boris' demand that inoculation visas can play a helpful part, there are amazing, useful and principled motivations to be careful about any such move. In down-to-earth terms, a few specialists are as of now asking what the place of COVID identifications may be. All things considered, immunization is tied in with insuring yourself. It has little to do with any potential danger you may posture to other people. Immunization travel papers would seem to have not many clear advantages for general well-being. However, they could have genuine negative results for our exclusive issues. This is the principled issue with COVID international IDs, as another unsuitable interruption into our protection and freedoms. As of not long ago, conservative pastors appeared to concur with that argument. Health Secretary Matt Hancock properly saw that, we're not a papers-conveying country. Vaccine Serve Nadeem Zahawi intensely expressed that, we are not intending to have an identification in the UK. That is not how we do things. Yet some way or another it currently appears to be that is by and large how we get things done. Continually expecting the most dire outcome imaginable, and influenced as consistently by unapproachable specialists, the government is set up to work out positively past reasonable well-being measures and make whatever strides will cause it to have all the earmarks of accomplishing something. Surveys propose that a larger part of people in general at present backs the possibility of inoculation visas. Assuming valid, it is an indication of how this horrendous pandemic has infused an incredible portion of dread into the public consciousness. That is even more motivation to pose genuine inquiries about what is proposed. Immunization travel papers are adequately questionable that an unordinary cross-part of 72 MPs, going from Labour Corbynistas to Tory Brexiteers, have all marked a letter contradicting them as disruptive and oppressive. They call attention to that the framework could neutralize bunches who are less inclined to have been immunized, like the youthful or ethnic minorities, and the individuals who have not been inoculated on clinical or moral grounds. Even Labour pioneer Sir Keir Starmer, who has obediently sponsored each Tory lockdown measure, giving another significance to the word resistance, has said that he will consider the government's arrangements, however may dismiss them as un-British. This issue goes past party governmental issues. The threat presented by COVID mission creep is about significantly more than a minor burden at the entryway of a bar or a theater. It is tied in with reclassifying principal thoughts of what opportunity and security mean in British society. We should not permit our assurance to be liberated from the COVID-19 pandemic to turn into a pardon to additionally limit our opportunity to go to the bar and carry on with our typical lives. Created by 00 Breaking News. Daily breaking and more news. Please subscribe. See you in a better world.